I'm just checking that we are live now.
Yeah. I just got a message saying that it was being live streamed, so I expect it's working.
Yeah. 1 second. Just refresh it.
I will probably have
Okay.
to jump away for 5 seconds when my friend comes home to open the door. So just
No problem.
seconds. You'll hear the bell.
No problem. And I will record it on this computer. Okay. So I'm just waiting for will I do it? Gallery view. Okay. I'm just opening Facebook so I can see the comments. Oh, okay. Some people connect. Hi, Ella.
Are you seeing Facebook and Zoom at the same time?
Yeah, exactly. So I can see what people write. If they have some questions, I can ask you.
Excellent.
I have to do multitasking. Okay. So we are starting. Every now and then I will translate to Hebrew because it's like an Israeli group and not everyone is very good English. So welcome, Marina. I'm happy to interview you. Thank you for saying yes, for coming. And sorry, my sister is always calling me. And I will start, I won't take a lot of your time, but I will start by saying, how did you start? How did you start your business? How did you start perfumery? Because I understand it's like 30 years now that you are on this journey.
It's been a very long time, yes. I never intended to be a perfumer. I was just really obsessed with smells, and I started learning about creating fragrances mostly because I wanted to create smells for things that didn't have a smell. It sounds really bizarre, but that was my obsession. And, you know, I always liked perfumes. I've never been one of these people that is really obsessed about perfumes. I like perfumes, but I am not that kind of person. To me, it's more about smell and the way smell made me feel. So I just started studying out of my own interest, and then eventually started making things for people, and people liked them, and then they asked for them, and then one thing led into another. And after I started really studying when I came to the UK. So I had already done a few things, but it was really when I was 20 that I started. I'm going to be 48, so this is 28 years ago. And but it was at the beginning it was very much aromatherapy based, and then I started studying like smells and fragrance in old cultures like Egyptian culture, the Roman culture, and I just started doing things and experimenting. I found some old books, I got some chemistry books, I got lots of aromatherapy books, I studied aromatherapy, and I just started creating things. And it was after about 10 years of creating perfumes and things for people I knew and for friends of friends, I had enough clients and enough customers and people that were buying my things that I thought, I'm going to try and do this as a full-time job rather than as a side job. And that was in 2010. So at that point, I had already been doing it for a good 10 years. So I didn't just jump into it without having really tried it a little bit before. And I had no idea if it was going to work. It's really hard work, and it's extremely hard when you don't know anybody and people don't know you. But somehow I managed to make it work, and I've done really quite well. I mean, I surprise myself sometimes, but I think I just haven't really planned things. I have been very flexible, and I have taken the opportunities as they came along, and I have taken a lot of risks that maybe some people would not take, but I had nothing to lose. So I could take those risks, and they have paid off really. And
okay, 1 second.
Yeah.
אז אם אתם, כמו שאתם יודעים, אני מארחת עכשיו את מרינה ברסלינה, היא בעצם פרפיומרית שהתחילה לבד בעצמה. היא מספרת שכשהיא התחילה זה היה כבר לפני 28 שנים, ובעצם היא לא הייתה אחת כזאת שנורא אוהבת בשמים וחשבה שהיא תהיה אי פעם בשמית, אלא פשוט היא אוהבת ריח, היא אוהבת איך שריח גורם לאנשים להרגיש, היא רצתה לחקור ולהבין למה יש דברים שאין להם ריח בכלל, ומשם היא בעצם התחילה. היא עבדה 10 שנים שלמות וחקרה והתחילה וקראה ספרים. תחשבו שלפני בערך 30 שנה לא היו כל כך הרבה דברים או מקורות ללמוד מהם, כמו שהיום יש קבוצות פייסבוק או יוטיוברים וכן הלאה, והיא למדה הכל לבד וחקרה לבד, וכשברגע שהיא התנתנה דברים לחברים שלה ולמשפחה שלה ואנשים התחילו לאהוב את זה, היא אחרי 10 שנים החליטה שזהו, זה מה שהיא הולכת לעשות, והיא אומרת שבמהלך הדרך היא לקחה המון סיכונים, והסיכונים האלה בסופו של דבר השתנו עליה, אבל היא הבינה שאם היא לא תיקח את הסיכון הזה, היא אמרה, אוקיי, גם ככה אין לי מה להפסיד, זה מה שהחלטתי לעשות וזה מה שאני הולכת לעשות. סורי?
I could listen to you all day.
I'm sorry, you know how it is, it's between the two languages.
It sounds beautiful.
So why you chose just natural? Because I know you focus on natural. I know you know everything. You know synthetics and you know... Yeah. But so, your first brand, I think, it's MB Perfume.
It's because I love working with naturals. So I have to admit, a long time ago, right now, I'm not dogmatic about it at all. And I wasn't always a scientist. I didn't always know how to research and how to understand certain things. And I did fall into that camp of people who believed that naturals were better a long time ago. I do not anymore. So partly, I guess that was why, but not really. It was more about the fact that I really loved working with naturals and that I found them not easier to work with, because I actually find the synthetics easier to work with. But I found them more... I felt like I worked better with them. I just enjoyed it more and it made more sense to me. I love vintage smells and I love natural smells. And so perhaps psychologically, I just felt more comfortable with them. And I find that it's quite difficult to, we were talking about this a minute ago. I find it's quite difficult to achieve what you want using only naturals. And I like challenges, I like difficult things, and I like to think about them. So maybe that's why. And I still love them. They're still my favorite thing to work with.
Yeah. אז שאלתי אותה, בעצם מרינה משתמשת בחומרים טבעיים, המותג הראשון שלה הוא בעצם נקרא MB Perfumes, על שם השם שלה, והבשמים שלה הם טבעיים לחלוטין. לפני שנכנסתם אליי ואני דיברתי איתה וקצת דיברנו על הבשמים שלה, ובאמת קשה נורא להשיג דברים מאוד יפים כשמשתמשים רק בחומרים טבעיים. אז היא אמרה שחלק מהאהבה הזאת פעם היא הייתה נורא דיכוטומית, או כן או לא, או טבעי או סינתטי, אבל היום היא כבר לא שם, היא כבר חוקרת, היא מדענית, היא יודעת המון דברים מעבר, והיא מבינה שאין פה שחור ולבן. היא כן משתמשת בסינתטי בדברים אחרים שהיא עושה, אבל במותג שלה כרגע זה לגמרי טבעי ונורא יפה. אתם תקבלו גם דוגמיות, תכף אני אתן פה איזשהו חידון. אוקיי, so...
No, you're frozen. There you are.
Sorry, my internet.
That's okay, that's right.
I moved apartment a week ago and I'm like managing everything with packaging and connectioning. I'm sorry. I wanted to ask you, which perfume made you the, I want to say success. People know you, you won awards for a lot of them, you've been nominated for most of them. Which perfume was like the break-off who make you take off and people recognize you?
Yeah, so I think, so there's really two. One of them is before I became more known, and it's Patchouli Clouds. So Patchouli Clouds I have been making before I launched my brand, because it was something my perfumes, my natural perfumes have memories. So Patchouli Clouds was the perfume I created thinking about, that's the one, thinking about my mom. So that is, my mom passed a long time ago, and so my memories of her, I wanted to bottle them. And that's why I created Patchouli Clouds. So Patchouli Clouds won a few awards before I rebranded to MB Parfums. Before it was called the Perfume Garden. And in the that got so many followers, and to this day it's still my best-selling perfume. I still get emails from people saying they've been moved to tears by the perfume without knowing the story, which I think is fascinating, because I think there must be something in that perfume that reminds people of what I was trying to capture with my mom's essence, if you see what I mean.
Amazing.
So there was that one. And then the one that really changed things for me was India. India was, I launched in 2015, and I won the award, the Fragrance Foundation Best New Independent Fragrance in 2016, before I rebranded to Marina Barcenilla Perfumes. So it was still under the Perfume Garden. And it was just really bizarre, because just becoming a finalist, that it was like, I think Mandy Aftel was the only person that had ever been a finalist with a natural perfume at the Fragrance Foundation Awards. And I look up to Mandy Aftel, I always have done. So it was like, wow, it's like, this is amazing. And I remember being, it was hilarious. I remember being at the awards, and you see my crappy bottle next to all these big brands, and feeling really embarrassed. And then I won. And I was like, I can't believe this is happening. They must have made a mistake. So wow. It was really that perfume that suddenly people started thinking about me. And a lot of people didn't know it was a natural perfume. It just won. And out of that, they started to know my name. So really it was India that was the breakthrough for me, that then made me think about rebranding and changing my idea of what I was doing.
Wow, amazing. Because you know, every indie perfumer who just started, they don't have packaging, they don't have branding, we can't buy any bottles, we can't buy anything. It's so much money to spend, and we spend a lot of the juice and we don't spend on the package.
Yep.
And when I got your package, I was so excited because it's beautiful. Everything
it wasn't always like that. So this is something, I mean, I think this, what I'm going to tell you is something I tell because I think it's really important for people to understand how we start. Unless I never had a lot of money. Some brands have a lot of money behind them, and therefore they start from the beginning really well. But I never had that. And when I started, I would make like, you know what, the amber bottles, like 100 liters of perfume in an amber bottle. And then when I got an order, I would literally fill the bottle for the order and send it off and put a sticker on that I printed myself. And that's how I started.
It's amazing. One second. אז בעצם שאלתי אותה מה גרם לה בעצם, איזה בושם גרם שהכירו אותה אנשים. אז היא אומרת שהבושם הראשון שהיא עשתה וזכה בפרסים ואנשים הכירו אותה היה בעצם פצ'ולי קלאודס, שזה משהו שהיא עשתה כמחווה עבור הריח של אמא שלה. אמא שלה נפטרה בגיל צעיר, והיא רצתה משהו שיזכיר את אמא שלה, באמת עד היום זה הבסט סלר שלה, אנשים ממש שולחים לה הודעות ומתקשרים ואומרים לה שזה ממש גורם להם ככה להתרגש. ומה שהיא זכתה אחר כך בפרגרנס פונדיישן, שזה של בריטניה, זה בעצם במשהו שנקרא אינדיה, שזה בושם מעולה דרך אגב, יש לי גם דוגמה שלו, היא מספרת על זה שבעצם כשהיא הייתה מועמדת, אז הבושם שלה היה, אתם יודעים, בקבוק רגיל פשוט, מי שעובד כמונו, אז הוא יודע איך זה שאין לנו מאיפה לקנות בקבוקים, ואין לנו מאיפה לקנות מדבקות, הכל נורא יקר, הכל צריך 10,000 יחידות, וזה נורא נורא קשה להמציא את הגלגל מבחינת עיצוב וברנדינג, שאין לך שום כסף ושום מותג שעומד מאחוריך, וזה נורא קשה, בגלל זה הרבה פעמים המותגים הגדולים לוקחים, כי אנשים מסתכלים בעיניים, והמותג שלה למרות הכל, הבושם של האינדיה זכה, ומשם זה התחיל, וגם היום היא אומרת, אני עסק קטן, אני עושה דברים לבד, יש לה 2 עובדים סך הכל היום, אז ככה שמבחינה הזאת, אצלי תמיד אתם תפגשו בסמים שהם אינדים, כי אני מאוד מעריכה את הדרך שהם עוברים. Okay, so I must say that the natural that I bought from you and the isolate that I bought for you they are very high quality. So when I smelled your perfume, I actually smelled a good quality, and it's long lasting. And I told you before, I will tell them again. I put on myself the perfume garden, and it was windy yesterday, and the whole day I would just smell it. Every now and then the benzoin came to me, and the flowers and everything, and it's amazing. And I can feel that you working with high quality natural, and not like other brands who sell like, I don't know, 0.01 natural and tell, oh, okay, it's have like a real rose inside. Yeah. So I think it's amazing, and I think it's very interesting to work with those natural. How are you working today? You have assistants, you have other people who work for you?
I'm still a micro business, so I still pretty much do everything myself, and I have 2 people, 3 in fact. One of them is in Spain that help me, but not all the time. So there is they help with emails most of the time, because I'm really busy, not just with the perfume, but also with the other side of my life, the science part. So I have somebody that helps me with emails and somebody that helps with orders, but it's not a full-time job. So it's just a few hours a week. So for example, we're not a massive business. It's just me. And I have no intentions of becoming really big, because I like to be involved. I still like to make the perfumes myself. And the people that work with me are people that I have met through studying with me mostly. So they understand what it is that we're trying to do. So there's 2 people in the UK. One works from home. The other one comes to the office and helps me, but not always the same hours. Depends on how busy I am. And then in Spain, there is Vanessa, that sometimes she helps me with emails as well. And then because of Brexit, leaving the European Union and all the problems that we've had in the UK since then, I then started a production in Spain last year. So, but I still like to be involved. So one of my students has her own cosmetic brand and her own lab in Spain. So I now come to Spain to also make the perfumes myself with the help of one of my students. So I guess you could say there are 4 people, but they are not employees. They just, they help a few hours as and when needed, rather than all the time.
Yeah. אוקיי, אז בעצם יש לה גם, בגלל הברקזיט, יש להם בעיות של משלוחים, והם לא יכולים לשלוח לכל מקום, גם לא לספרד, אז היא יצרה לעצמה מקום שיוכל להכין בספרד, ויש לה כל מיני תלמידים, היא גם מלמדת. תכף נגיע לחלק של המדע. רחלי, יש לי מלא דברים שלה, היא לא שולחת לארץ. You don't sell to Israel, you don't sell out of the UK. It's because of the Brexit, it's because of the shipping cost, or because you don't have time.
So it's a combination. I used to send perfumes abroad and ingredients, but it's really, really expensive, and it's time consuming. And in order to ship dangerous goods, you have to do some training every 2 years that you've got to pay for, and it's really expensive for the customers. And so it's just not really worth it. If I was a bigger business and I could have somebody dedicating themselves to this, then maybe I could do it. But at the moment, it's just not something that I can really do and not let people down, if you see what I mean. And also the shops, so in Spain, I have a couple of shops. One supplies the whole of Europe, and the other one ships around the world. So the shop in Madrid, which is called Le Secret de Marais, they ship around the world. So in terms of perfumes, pretty much anywhere I would ship, they ship.
Okay, so it will be interesting to get the names if someone want to order, because people already very
interesting. I can send you the links if you want. I can put them on the chat, and then you can share them with them.
Thank you.
Because I'm sure they are on Facebook as well.
I'm sorry, I hadn't saw them. אז בעצם שאלתי אותה למה היא לא שולחת לארץ, אז היא הסבירה, אתם יודעים, החוק של בושם נחשב לחומר שהוא סחורה מסוכנת בהובלה, בגלל שהוא דליק, אז צריך לעשות קורס לזה, ואז המשלוחים הופכים להיות נורא נורא יקרים, וזה קצת בעייתי. יש לה כן חנות בספרד ששולחת לכל העולם, אני אשלח לכם, אני אצרף לינקים לשיחה שלנו בפייסבוק, ואז אם מישהו ירצה להזמין, אז הוא בהחלט מוזמן להזמין משם. So tell me about your science path, how it's connected to perfume, how does
it doesn't. I just did, but it doesn't. So a lot of people, when they have a midlife crisis, they do weird things, right? So when I had my midlife crisis at 40, I decided to go to university and study a degree in astronomy and planetary science.
One second, I will open to my door.
Yeah.
You can sit down. Sorry. Yes.
That's okay. Yes. So I was interested in.
You're 40. I'm amazed.
I'm going to be 48 in less than a month, the 19th of May.
Wow. You look young, you know, I would never.
I have good genes and I don't look my age, I have to say. I'm very fortunate. So hopefully when I'm 80, I look 60. I don't know. But yes, so when I was 40, I went to university, and while I was running the business, in fact, the fee that I won was in the second year of my degree while I was studying. So I did a degree in astronomy and planetary science, 3 years, and then I went straight into a PhD, which is what I'm finishing in the next few months. And the PhD is in astrobiology, so it's related, it's basically involved with the work that the missions from NASA and the European Space Agency are sending to Mars. So it's Mars related. And so that is completely separate from perfume. It had nothing to do with it. But when I was studying space chemistry in the second year of my degree, I just, like most people would think, oh, I wonder what that looks like, or I wonder what that tastes like. My first question for everything is, I wonder what that smells like, which is what I've always thought. So when I was studying the chemistry of various parts of the galaxy, of the surface of Mars, it's like, oh, I wonder what that smells like. And so I remember thinking, actually, I've got some of these chemicals I'm studying, I have them in my lab and I can get them as perfume molecules. So I'm just going to go and play and make the smells of space for myself. It was just curiosity. And then out of that, I just thought this is a really good project to build a kind of bridge between a very hard science that a lot of people feel is very alien and difficult, and the more creative, you know, artistic world. And I thought it would be a really good vehicle to teach science using your senses. So it can be for anybody. So anybody can actually not just listen to a scientist telling them things, they can participate in the science. And that was in 2017. And that is how it started.
Wait, one second. אז בעצם שאלתי אותה איך בעצם היא הגיעה לירח, אני חשבתי שאיך היא הגיעה בעצם לחלל, אני חשבתי שהיא קודם התחילה מהחלל ואז הגיעה לירח, אבל מסתבר שלא. היא אומרת שדווקא במשבר גיל 40 שלה היא החליטה שהיא הולכת ללמוד, והיא בחרה ללמוד דווקא אסטרופיזיקה ואסטרוביולוגיה, והיא סיימה את התזה שלה ותכף היא מסיימת את ה-PhD שלה, וחלק מהעניין שלה היה בעצם להבין, אוקיי, בגלל שאני נורא אוהבת ריחות, אז איך החלל יכול להריח? אז היא יצרה איזשהו פרויקט נורא מיוחד ב-2017, והיא בעצם מנסה להיות איזשהו כלי שמתווך בין מדע שהוא נורא נורא קשה להבנה, ואנשים מאוד ככה מתקשים להבין מונחים ומושגים, ובכלל הרבה פעמים מפחיד אותנו נורא, לבין משהו שהוא נורא אומנותי. אז היא אומרת, היא לא משתמשת רק בריח, אלא משתמשת בכל החושים כשהיא מנסה ללמד את זה. Okay, so, but you also made like 4 perfumes of the space?
Yes, but
so how it came
Yeah, so basically the first exhibition that I did for Aromatum was in December 2017, and there was about almost 30 smells, and the majority of smells in space, it smells really bad. So the majority of smells are really horrible, and I remember thinking, I need to do something for the end, like a reward, because everybody's been like, oh, so let's give them something nice at the end. So then I decided, also because I'm a perfumer, so I wanted to create something out of it, I decided to mix different elements of all the bits of space into one perfume. And so first of all was Out of This World. So Out of This World was the perfume that takes you from the Earth to the center of the Milky Way. And so that one was launched in 2017 at the same time as the project. And that perfume, the next year, was one of the finalists for Perfume Extraordinaire at the Fragrance Foundation. And then that was that, because I started my PhD and I kind of took a break. But I had already been working on other perfumes. And it's just because I enjoy it, I just had to do it. So there's now the Moon, the Earth and Mars, as well as Out of This World, and there are more being made as and when I've got time. So probably will be launched maybe late this year or maybe next year.
אוקיי, אז בעצם היא אומרת שהיא אמרה, אוקיי, אני אעשה את הריח של החלל לאיזושהי תערוכה, אבל הריח של החלל מסריח, מסתבר, אין ריח טוב לחלל. אז היא החליטה לתת בכל זאת לאנשים להריח משהו טוב, והיא יצרה את הריח של שביל החלב, והיא בעצם אומרת שהריח הזה שנה אחר כך זכה גם בפרס של הפרגנס פאונדיישן, ומשם היא המשיכה למאדים, לחלל, למאדים, לירח וכן הלאה, ועוד מעט, עוד שנה בערך יוצא לה עוד בושם אחד בסדרה הזאת. אוקיי, and you also teach kids?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
what do you teach them?
So basically the idea of Aromatum is an educational project, and it teaches about space missions, about the formation of the solar system, about the different planets, about space. And so it depends on the public. I can do it in different ways. So I go to schools and I teach a lesson about the solar system, but using, obviously I tell them about things, but we start with the smells and then I explain why things smell that way. And that's how I get talking about the planets. So I do that at schools, but I also go to places like the Science Museum, the Natural History Museum. I've gone to science conferences and festivals. So I also do it with adults who know nothing about space. And they're a bit like, oh my God, that's really hard. But it's like, it doesn't have to be hard. And the good thing is that the fact that we're using smell to talk about it makes it easier and it makes it fun. And they learn without thinking that it's hard, if that makes sense.
אוקיי, אז היא בעצם נכנסת לבתי ספר, להעביר שיעורים, ללמד ילדים את מערכת השמש, היא עושה את זה גם במוזיאונים, והיא מלמדת לא רק ילדים, אלא גם מבוגרים, ובעצם היא מעבירה להם את איך שמערכת השמש בנויה, ואיך שכל החלל בנוי בצורה שהיא מאוד מאוד פשוטה, באמצעות החושים, ובמיוחד חוש הריח. A lot of people here said, I cannot imagine how the Milky Way smells like, and it's probably very salty. What is this? What is kind of the smell? I mean, okay. What did you make? Or now you make everyone interesting.
But this is the thing. This is the whole point. Is people start asking questions, and so I can suddenly start teaching you about space because we were talking about the smells of it. So basically, the first thing to remember is that in space you wouldn't be able to smell anything because there's no air to breathe. Okay, so you can't smell anything. However, you have to think that every chemical that is on Earth, that we have on Earth, has come from space. So everything we have on Earth is also in space, but it's in different places. So start with that. You can tell them that.
אוקיי, אז היא אומרת בעצם שקודם כל בכלל אי אפשר להריח שום דבר בחלל, כי אין שם אוויר. הרי אנחנו מריחים מולקולות של ריח מהאוויר. מצד שני היא אומרת שבעצם כל דבר שאנחנו מריחים פה מגיע מהחלל, אז כאילו זה כבר משהו שהוא סוג של דיסוננס, כאילו מטורף. אוקיי.
Okay, so like I said, everything on Earth has come from space, but not everything is everywhere in space. So for example, the smells on Mars are going to be different to the ones on the moon or the ones in the center of the galaxy. And it all depends on the chemistry that we find in each place. Now, in the Milky Way, it's too big. So there's lots of different clouds of gas and dust, and they all have lots of molecules within them. So from Earth, we can actually detect and identify the chemical molecules within different parts of the galaxy. And some of those molecules don't really have a smell, others smell really bad, and others smell good. So the idea about making the smell of space is to create a smell with the things that we can smell, that I can say, this that you're smelling is also in the center of the Milky Way. There's also this other molecule that if you smell it would kill you. So I'm not going to make you smell that one, for example.
I understand. אוקיי, אז היא בעצם אומרת, מה שהיא עשתה זה היא ניסתה לשלב בין כל מיני ריחות, הרי מאדים יש לו ריח אחר, תלוי במולקולות שנמצאות שם, תלוי באיזה כימיקלים נמצאים, ומה שהיא עשתה היא ניסתה לקחת דברים שכן מריחים טוב וליצור אותם בתוך הבושם. So, if Elon Musk decided we are going to live in space, which planet are you going to choose? By smell are you going to choose it?
Earth. It's only Earth. There's nothing out there that smells good. And in fact, right now I'm working with an observatory that has asked me to create a smell for an imaginary exoplanet. And the thing about good smells on Earth is that it's a combination of nice chemical molecules that are very complex. But so, for example, if we go back to the center of the Milky Way, we have some molecules that smell fruity. So you know what an ester is in perfumery. Yeah. So esters smell fruity. So we find esters in like ethyl formate, which we find inside raspberries in the center of the Milky Way. We also find hydrogen cyanide that smells like bitter almonds, but it's poisonous if you smell it. And we also find different types of sulfur molecules that would smell like rotten eggs or broccoli. So the idea is to make you think, whatever is out there, you can understand it, because we also have it here. And you could actually open your fridge and maybe smell something or eat something that has the same molecule that's in the center of the Milky Way. And if you go, I'll let you say that if you want.
Okay, אז בעצם אמרתי לה, אם אילון מאסק עכשיו שולח אותנו לגור בחול, כאילו בחלל, אז כאילו באיזה הייתה בוחרת? אז היא אמרה, תמיד הייתי בוחרת בכוכב הארץ, בגלל שיש אזורים שיש להם, כמו באמצע שביל החלב, יש להם למשל ריחות של גופרית, ויש אזורים שיש להם ריחות של שקדים, אבל זה ציאנית בעצם, אז אי אפשר להריח את זה, זה נורא רעיל. ויש גם אסטרים בבשמים, זה ריח של פירות בדרך כלל. אז יש שילוב כל כך גדול, אבל עדיין היא הייתה בוחרת לגור בכדור הארץ. אז היא עושה עוד איזה פרויקט עבור מישהו שרוצה ליצור סוג של כמו חלל שאנחנו הולכים לגור בו, אז זה גם הולך להיות מעניין. אוקיי. So, can I ask now, you live in Spain, you live in UK, and you mix in between both, and you in space also. So, what is the smell of home for you?
So my home is in the UK. So I've been in the UK since 1996. I went there when I was 20. It's really bizarre because my home is definitely in the UK. But when I think about the smell of home, for me is my hometown. So a small town in northern Spain. And it's a mixture of the smell. So, you know, the smell of rain is different depending on where you are. It's always the same, but it's different. So for me, the smell of home is a very earthy and dry smell of rain because I come from a very agricultural area. So we're surrounded by fields and lots of earth. So it's a mixture of, earth and asphalt and rain. That is for me the smell of home.
Have you made it one? Have you tried?
I am actually making it. I'm working on a couple of smells for my hometown. One is the smell of it in general, and the other one is a historical smell, because my town is a really old Roman city.
So what is it called?
It's called Calahorra, but in the full Roman name from the Roman Empire is Talaguris Nasica Julia. I'm going to write it down for you so you can see it. Talaguris Nasica Julia. So this is the name, the Roman name of my town. And we had really important and prominent people from the Roman Empire that came from my town. And we have a lot of archaeological digs and a lot of literature about those times. So I'm actually working with some people back home on creating a historical smell for the old town, for the old city of Rome. Yeah.
Wow, it's amazing. You're so busy. I don't know. I
get bored. I don't have children. That's why. If I have children, I probably wouldn't be able to do this. But I don't have children, so
maybe I will send mine to space, so I will have some more time. Well, first of all, thank you very much, Marina. It was joyful. I like talking to you. You're very kind. I saw it from your emails, and you made so much effort to make my shipping to Simon. So it was so nice of you to take care of me. And I hope people will see the links and buy some stuff. And I will, of course, all the samples that I got from you, I will send them to smell and to see and to know you better. So thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Adva. It's been lovely talking to you.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, bye. Huh?